Go to sheet protection. On your Excel sheet, you can protect some cells, or you can protect an entire sheet. First of all, I make two warnings. The first one is that the protection is not 100% sure. It's rather easy with program downloaded from the internet to break your protection, so don't rely on it. The second thing is that applying a protection is not obvious. So exactly like data table, this one, what is it? This one, data table, it's very unnatural, the sequence of operation. So the sequence of operation is not natural, it's difficult to remember. So I suggest you today before the exam to train or to write very good notes that you may have during the exam. When is a good idea to apply sheet protection? Sheet protection is not a tool to protect you against other people. It's a tool to protect you, your sheet, against incompetent people. So against people who, for mistake, may delete your data. Okay, this is a good idea a good way to protect your sheet, because the people are not competent, and this is the reason why they probably will do mistakes. And at the same time, they will for sure not be able to remove the protection. Okay? If you try to protect your sheet against hackers or competent people, it's not the right tool. So let's see how to apply it. Go to sheet first. For example, suppose I want to apply the protection to everything except column C. Okay, so how to do it? Well, it's here in review. Okay, the first thing you have to do is deciding where to which cell you want to not apply protection. So it's the vice versa. You're doing the vice versa of what is logical. First of all, you decide where you don't want the protection. So column C. Allow users to edit ranges. Okay, new. Give a name to this range. Range 1 is okay. Column C. Okay. Don't put any password. If you don't put any password, anybody will be free to modify range 1, which is column C. Okay. You press OK. Okay. Now you have range 1 without password. You may specify other ranges if you want without password or with a separate password. And now finally you can protect the entire sheet, clicking on protect sheet. Okay. Put your favorite password. Okay. Usually leave what is by default. If you want to let the person do something but not something else, you may choose from these checkboxes, but usually it is a the best choice. Okay. Again. Okay. From this moment, this sheet is protected. Nobody will be able to modify things except column C. Let's see. I try to modify column C. It works. I try to modify column D. You can see it doesn't work. I may still look at the content of column E, but I may not modify it. Okay. It works also for yourself, so use it even if you're afraid that for mistake you change something. Whenever you don't want to have your sheet protected anymore, simply click unprotect sheet. Give your password. And now the sheet is unprotected. Everybody can modify everything. So applying protection is a very easy task. But please remember that it's exactly the opposite. First you have to set what should be free, and then you have to set your password and protect your sheet. Hiding and unhiding. Okay. Also this one is a rather easy thing. Sometimes you receive, I tell you not because I suggest you to hide columns or unhide columns, but because sometimes you receive an Excel sheet with a column hidden and you don't have any idea how to unhide it. So how to hide a column? For example, let's select column C and D, and we want to hide them. We go here, hide. The column disappears completely. You have no hint here that there is a column hidden. The only hint that you have is that between B and E you should find C and D. and that there is here a border which is a little thicker than the usual ones. Okay. How to unhide them? Well, if you are very good with your mouse, you can go here and find the right place, this one, where you can click and drag this way. Okay. Well, if you are not so good, it's much better to select B and E, right click, and hide. So very fast and without the... Okay, you can right click, okay, or go to Home, Cells, Formats, Visibility, Hide and Unhide. Home, Cells, Format. It's also here. Okay, but it's much better to use the right mouse button. Okay. You can also hide an entire sheet. Okay, something I don't suggest you to do. Let's see. No, you cannot hide all the cells. Okay, you cannot hide some cells, but you can hide some rows. Okay. Freezing and splitting panes. If you have a sheet which is very long, like this one, okay, when you are here, well, you don't know what is this 61, so you have to scroll back. Ah, it's by price. Okay, same thing in the horizontal direction. Now my screen is large enough, but if it were so large, okay, I will be here and they say, to what does this handle refer? And I have to go back to Rolo Banca. Okay, so it's a typical problem of big sheet. Okay. How can you say that this one must remain forever? Well, I know people who take the row and copy and paste it in the middle of the table again. It's not clearly the best choice. Okay. It's much better and easier to go to View, Freeze Panes, Freeze Top Row. You don't even, now it's selected, but you don't even need to select it. With Freeze Top Row, the top row will be frozen. Can you see there is a line here? Now if you scroll down, the top row remains there. Okay. You may freeze also the first column. Well, in this case, it's a little nonsense because you will freeze the by date. Okay. If you want to freeze more than one row, for example, suppose I want to freeze the first 3 column and the first row, so one row and the first 3 column. Okay. So I want to freeze this 3 column here and this row here. This is the thing I want to freeze. If you want to freeze an area like this, your option is to go here. So put the mouse in the first cell that it's not frozen, and you choose from here Freeze Panes, so the first option. The little picture should give you a clear idea of what is it doing. Okay, and you have frozen the first row and the first 3 columns. Can you see? Now if I go here, okay. So when you want to unfreeze everything, choose unfreeze. Okay. So freezing it's always a good idea whenever your table is a little long. Okay. We don't deal with split. Okay, last topic for this video, how to put comments. Well, it's extremely easy. Just right click, insert comment, or if you prefer, review, new comment, and you put a comment. The comment is marked with a red triangle here. Okay. Pay attention that instead, if you see, if you see a green triangle, it's not a comment, it's Excel that is trying to warn you about something. In this case, it's telling me that I have numbers stored as text. Okay? So, green triangle is something completely different. It's Excel warning you that there may be something wrong. The right triangle instead is simply a comment. If you want to remove it, you go here. Well, you have edit, delete, or you very much simpler, right click, delete comment. Can also hide it. Okay. Okay, we go on with our list of miscellaneous things. Okay, let's go back. First of all, we'll see how Excel is able to produce small databases. So single table databases, which we will use also as an example for the next lessons on Access. Take the sheet long. This is an example of a database table. Okay, as you can see, it contains headers in the first row, and all the rest are data. Okay, if you go back to sheet first, this is also a database table. Headers in the first row and data. This one instead is not a database table, even though it looks like, because of the presence of these three things, which is another database table by itself. So this one were a database table if it had only this part here. Okay. So we stick now with sheet long. Let's see how you can do with database table. You have data. You can basically filter and sort your data. Well, sort. Okay. When you click sort, Excel tries to guess which data are you currently using. Okay, in this case, Excel has guessed correctly. Very important option, my data has headers. If you select it, Excel will not sort your headers. If you don't select it, Excel will consider your header as any other data and will sort it, so you will find your headers here in the middle. Okay. Then you can choose which field you want to sort. For example, if I ask you to sort by quantity, you select quantity. Okay. Well, usually Excel guesses correctly whether you want to sort by values or by other things, usually values. And you may sort smallest to largest or largest to smallest. Let's keep smallest to largest. Press OK, and all your records are sorted by quantity, because it starts with 1 and end up with 2500. Okay. However, sorting using one field only, it's very easy. There are many other ways to do it. We will see another one later. A little more difficult thing is sorting using 2 or more fields. For example, suppose I ask you, please sort by currency, and then, in case 2 stocks have the same currency, stock by date, and in case 2 stocks have also the same by date, sort by sell date. So you sort by currency, A to Z, because it's alphabetical. Then you must click on Add Level, sort by date, chronological, oldest to newest. At exam, I'm very precise, telling you whether oldest to newest or newest to oldest, so chronological order or inverse chronological order. Then Add Level, sell date, oldest to newest. Press OK. You will see that first of all the Swiss franc, it's the only one. Then all the euro stocks. Some of them have the same as these ones by date. In this case, they are sorted by sell date. Then the GBP. In this case, we don't have data with. Yes, we have data with the same by date, and in case I have also the same by date, are sorted by sell date. So sorting is pretty easy. You have only to add level. If you want to delete a level, you can do it here. Okay, if you want to move one level up, you can do it here. Options, let's leave it. Please take care at exam whether I want the oldest to newest or newest to oldest, whether I want largest to smallest or smallest to largest, etc, etc. Especially take care of my data has headers. Another thing you can do here is the filter. You get it when you press here. Once you press it, the bottom stays down, and you will see these strange symbols, which we have already seen. Okay, first of all, if you're using this strange symbol, you may sort. Can you see? Unfortunately, this sort here works only on one field. So you may not sort as we did before, using 3 different fields. It sorts simply on one field. If 2 things have the same value, like these 2, well, the rows remain sorted in the way they were sorted before. So, okay. You can see that currently which field is currently the sorting field from the presence of this arrow here. Okay. But you can do another very interesting thing. You can filter. Suppose I don't want to see the stocks trading in euro and I want to see only the other ones. Okay. Instead of finding them one by one and removing or doing whatever, I may simply go here. You see here a list of all the values present in this field, and you may deselect values that you don't want to see. The values are not deleted, they are simply hidden. Okay. You can see the row number is blue, just to emphasize the fact that there are hidden records here. Okay. Also there is here a funnel symbol. This in English is a funnel. Okay, to remind you that there is a filter in here. Okay. You can filter also other things. For example, you don't want to see for date filters you have several possibilities. You want to see only the things this month, but probably this month you will not see anything. Let's see, after, and you specify a date. For example, this one. Oops. Let's see whether it works. Okay. After 1st January 2007. So we'll put a filter here on currency and a filter here on by date, which is after a certain date. Okay. You can go here also to sell date. You can see you can select individually what you want or what you don't want. So you have several opportunities to filter out things. Well, if you don't want to see your filter anymore, just click on clear. Okay, and you will clear up all the filters. If you don't want to see this symbol anymore, just click here and the symbol will disappear. So these are some little basic things that you may do with tables, with database tables, which we simply call lists for the moment. Let's see a completely different topic, hyperlinks. Well, we talk about hyperlinks not to suggest you to use them, but to suggest you to avoid them, and especially to teach you how to remove them, because it's one of the most annoying things of Excel. Let's see what I'm talking about. Go to empty. Suppose you want to make up a small list of websites, so websites. Okay. You digit here some websites. As soon as you finish digiting it and press enter, here what's happened. You can see Excel has decided that since this one starts with www, it must be an hyperlink. So first of all it's blue, underlined, but especially whenever you click here, not because you want to go to this website, but simply because you want to select a cell and do something with this cell, okay, Excel starts Explorer, or in this case it doesn't work, luckily, and opens a website. Same thing if you digit an email address. Whenever you want to click on this cell because you want to do operation with this cell or something like that, Excel sends an email to me. Okay. It's very annoying. How to get rid of it? Well, if you have only one hyperlink to get rid, you could simply go above it, right click the mouse button, remove hyperlink. Okay. But if you have an entire, and now we'll build it, column of hyperlink, going through them one by one and remove, it's too long. Okay. There is a little trick which works very well. If you have an entire column of hyperlinks and you want to get rid of the entire column of hyperlinks, but keeping the letters, select the column, copy, go to another column, paste values. Well, in this pasting only the values, we'll paste simply the letters, the typed letters, and we'll remove all the extra formatting, including the hyperlinks, as you can see. Then you can remove this column, or you can copy this column again on this one. Okay. Okay. So in this way, you can see I got rid of the hyperlinks. Okay. This is the trick to remove hyperlinks which are already present on your Excel, which is something I may ask you during the exam. There is another thing you may want to do, which is something I will not ask at exam, but maybe you are interested. File, Options. Proofing, autocorrect options, auto format as you type. Here, can you see this one? Internet and network path with hyperlinks. If you deselect this one, your Excel will not produce hyperlinks anymore, finally. Okay. Unfortunately, other people will still send you files with hyperlinks inside, which you may want to remove, so you have also to learn how to remove them. But here is how to force your Excel not producing hyperlinks anymore. Okay. Let's change topic again. Let's go now to a big topic, pivot table and pivot charts, clearly. Pivot table, it's a summary table. So it's a table which analyzes another table and tries to organize the data in such a way to show you how to build, etc., etc. Let's see what you can do. Go to sheet long. So you must have a table which is, let's say, a database table. So a very well structured table with headers in the first row and all the other things here. Okay. So you put your mouse in the middle of the table, insert, pivot table. Okay. Choose pivot table. Okay. First of all, Excel try to guess, as usual, which data are you using. Usually it guesses correctly, but let's check. Yes, everything is okay. Choose where you want to put your pivot table. Well, 99% of the time you will put it in a new worksheet. It's a little crazy putting in an existing worksheet. Okay. And this is your pivot table. For the moment it's empty. But you can see here that you have a variable, all the list of the fields that you may want to put in. First of all, let's try, for example, put currency, take currency, and drag it to row labels. You can see that in this way we have built, let's say, beginning of a new table with the currency that we have available. Take sector and put it to column label. So you can see that we have here now the sectors. So we are slowly building a table based on the data that we have, which contains here the currency and here the sector. Suppose I'm asking you, please show me what is the average gain per currency and per sector. So you take the gain in percentage, you drag it here. Unfortunately, Excel displays the sum of gain, so you go here, value field settings, you choose average, and you can see the table shows us the average gain per currency and per sector. Some are empty, for example, Swiss franc and car. Well, in Switzerland, very few cars are produced, so. Okay, but many of them are filled up. You can see that food in Britain has a negative average gain. Also, high tech in United States, real estate in United States, pharmacy in Europe has a strong negative gain. Some are empty. You can see that also you have totals. Here, the total for the car sector, for the chemistry sector, energy sector, factory sector. The total for Swiss franc, for euro, for British pound, for United States dollar, and the grand total of everything. This number here is the average gain of everything. Okay, this is how a pivot table is built. You can drag as many fields as you want here, here, and here, and the pivot table will try to do its best to show you the statistics for what you drag in values given the different categories of row labels and column labels. Okay. What happens if you don't specify a column label? Well, let's see. Remove it, so take sector and put it back here. Okay. Well, very simply, use it average of gain by currency. Okay. Well, you may put currency in the other on the column and use it in the different way. Okay. What happens if you take now sector? Where is it? Okay. And instead of dragging it here, you drag it here. Let's try. If you drag it here, well, these are the same numbers as before, but probably seeing them in this way is much better, because it's clear that Swiss franc has only food sector, euro has all these sectors, etc., etc. Let's see other statistics. Instead of average, or better, we keep average of gain, and I want to add the sum of total bay. So you take total bay, drag it here, sum. It's already sum. In this case, we don't need to go here and change it. Let's see also the sum of total sell. Okay, so you can see that for food Swiss franc, 0.29% the average 0.29 the average gain, total buy 6278, total sell 8151. Okay, so there is a gain clearly. Okay, let's get rid of all this thing. Try to put in the row the sector. Okay. Then put in the values the average quantity. So you take quantity, drag it here. Excel write sum, but you want the average. Okay. And now suppose I'm asking, you can see that you have this thing here, so you can filter, so remove for example the car sector, maybe you're not interested in it. Okay. But you can do even something much better. So very well, for this statistics, I would like to see, however, only the things which are in British pound and euro. So I would like you to put a filter here which displays only the statistics for things which are in British pound and euro. So how can you do it? Well, first of all, take the currency, put it in report filter. So what you put here, you can see it's here, it's an additional filter on the entire table. So select from here, select multiple items. You want to select British pound and euro. Okay. So all the data that you see here now are only for British pound and euro. So they are not for the other ones. Okay. Suppose I'm telling you also, well, I would like to see only the thing sold in, let me see, sold in 2007. So you take sell date, you drag it to the filter. So now you have a filter also on sell date. Okay, in this case, there is no way, you must manually select the thing in 2007. Oops. Okay. And you get a filter on 2007. Let's now see what is a pivot chart. A pivot chart is very simply a chart built on a pivot table. Once you have your pivot table ready, for example, let's get rid of this filter here. So you can click on pivot chart. Usually it's this one. It's, let's say, almost always this one. And you get your pivot chart. It simply represents your pivot table. You still have the opportunity to remove the filters or to apply other filters. You don't have the opportunity to change this one. Can you see? Or better, maybe here from value field setting. Yes, you can. Okay, and your pivot chart is displayed. What happens? Now delete it. Also remove the currency filter. what happens if you have a two-dimensional pivot table, so a table like this one? Okay. Well, the pivot chart will be a clustered pivot chart, this way. So two currencies. Let's put also the other two. Okay, so the 4 currencies for each sector. You have the average of quantity, and you get your pivot chart. So pivot charts are, let's say, automatically built from pivot table once you have your pivot table correct, and you can still modify something directly here. Let's do another exercise. We change completely table, so go to first, take this table here, they insert pivot table. Okay, well, for example, as row label nationality, and suppose I very simply ask you first of all to calculate the average of number 1 for each nationality, and this is easy. You just drag number 1 here, and you select either from here or probably, oops, it's also from here. No, only from here. Average. Okay. Suppose now instead they ask you how many people for each nationality are present. If I ask you something like this, you should count. Okay. So you should use from here the count. Okay, not on number 1, obviously. But which field are you counting? The trick is the following. Every time I ask you to count, let's say, how many people, how many rows, how many subjects, you have to take the person ID. Okay, this one will be more clear to you when we will deal with databases. So person ID, not the sum, but the count. Okay, and you see that there are 2 English people, 4 French, 3 German, 2 Greek. If you take nationality, so if instead of counting the person ID, you count the nationality in this way, okay, well, in this case it works, okay, but not always may it work. Sometimes Excel may believe that Italian and Italian should be counted only once. In this case it worked fine, everybody is counted correctly, as you can see, okay. But I want you, whenever I say to count the rows or the subjects that you have, to count the ID of the table. Okay, so choose something to count which is unique. So in this case, this one is unique, this one is not unique at all. Okay. So for example, for the long table, this one, okay, if I ask you to count the number of stocks per currency, well, what will you choose? Usually the thing which is unique is the name. The number of stocks is the name. Some names are repeated. For example, we have here a name which is repeated, but in this case it's okay to count it only once. So count of name per currency. Let's get rid of some. Okay. Okay, you're counting the name. Since in this table unfortunately we don't have the ID. Okay, if you had the ID, maybe it would be better to count the ID. So we will be sure that this 2 counts 2 times. If you count the name, I'm not sure whether this 2 counts 2 times or only once. Okay. So whenever you have an ID and I ask you to count something, please count using the ID. Okay, there was a similar exercise in the last exam. Date fields. This works mostly for date. It's very useful for date fields in pivot table. So go to sheet long as usual and build a new pivot table. Let's say build a pivot table which displays the minimum of quantity by sector. So insert pivot table. Oops. Excel has not guessed correctly the data, we must select them. new worksheet. Okay, by sector, the minimum of quantity, minimum. Okay, now suppose I want to put here in the column labels the by date. Unfortunately, if I do it, you will have date by date, and this doesn't make too much sense. Okay, there is a way, however, to group this date by year, by month, which is very nice. You just go here, so you must click on the field, okay, or click here, group field, and this gives you the possibility to group by, for example, quarters. Sorry, okay. So you have first, second, third, and fourth quarters, or much better by year, okay, or even by year and quarter. So second quarter of 99, third quarter of 99, fourth quarter of 99. Okay. You can also select some data. In any case, for example, grouping by year presents the data in a much more efficient way. So it's basically unreadable to have the data in this way here. So how can I remove the group? I cannot remove the group anymore, days. Okay. Having it in this way is not very efficient. Okay, we are over with this thing here. Let's go to statistics with Excel. Okay. Excel is able to do some little statistics. However, in order to do it, you must first install the Analysis toolpak. I will teach you here right now how to install the Analysis toolpak, and at the exam you will not be helped if the Analysis toolpak is not installed, or if, for mysterious reason, it has disappeared. So you must know how to install it. It's very simple, just follow what's written here. File, Excel option, add-ins, go Analysis toolpak. Okay. Some of you will have the Analysis toolpak in German, Analysefunktionen, others in Italian, strumenti di analisi. It's totally random. File, Excel options. Let me see. Add-ins, go Analysis toolpak. Add-ins. Okay, in this case I have it already installed, so go. You can see it's already installed. For you, click here, so check here and press OK. Now you don't press OK. Once you press OK, you go to Data. It should be present here, Data Analysis. Why do you have risolutore in Italian? Mystery. Okay, Data Analysis. You may have it in German or in Italian, okay? Doesn't matter, well, it's more or less the same, only the name changes. If you don't see it, and you have done all the steps I have indicated before, close Excel and reopen it. Okay. Once finally you have done it, okay, go to Sheet first, and we'll see how to use it. Suppose I'm asking you to calculate some descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics are the average, which is something you should know, and other statistics that maybe you know, maybe you don't, such as the standard deviation, variance, mode, median, etc., 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 maximum, minimum, range. Okay. Statistics, all of them, have an Excel function. You could build them manually using the Excel function. However, it's very long and very tedious. You can build them automatically in 1 second using the descriptive statistics from the data analysis. Let's see how. Suppose I ask you to calculate descriptive statistics for number 1 and number 2. Okay. Data analysis. Descriptive statistics. In Italian, statistiche descrittive. In German, Populationskenngröße. Okay. This little interface asks you where are your numbers. Input range. You select column C and column D. Okay. Group by columns. Labels in the first row. Yes, in this case you have labels in the first row. Okay, if you don't select it. I suggest you to put them in a new workbook, sorry, in a new worksheet. Okay. Pay attention here, you must, and I repeat must, select this one. If you don't do it, Excel will display nothing. Okay. It's one of the strange features of data analysis. If you don't select attend what do you exactly want, Excel will display nothing. Press OK. And you get a new sheet, here sheet 3. Let's enlarge it. Okay. With a descriptive statistic, mean, which means average. Please, in English, mean and average are synonymous. Standard error, median, mode, standard deviation, sample variance, kurtosis, skewness, range, minimum, maximum, sum, and count. Okay. These numbers here, pay attention, they are not dynamic, they are static. It means that if you go back here and you change a number, the numbers here will not change. It's one of the few things inside data analysis are all static. If you go here, go back and change them, they will not change. Okay? So it's just a one spot statistics of your situation. It's not dynamic like anything else. Can you see here? There is no formula behind, it's static values. Okay? Let's see another thing you may do. It's the histogram. Okay. First of all, just to remove a common error, an histogram is not this one. Okay. Even though in Excel in Italian this one is called histogramma, this is not an histogram. If I build this thing here, this is not an histogram. Okay. Let's see what is an histogram. This is an histogram. Okay. You have numerical data, one series only. Okay. You divide your numerical data into groups, which are sometimes called bins. For example, here, 5 bin from 0 to 4, from 0 to 0.4, from 0.4 to 0.8, 0.8 to 1.2, 1.2 to 2, etc., etc. And then you count how many rows or how many data do you have for each bin. The histogram depicts, for example, this one, a clear situation. Most of the data are very close to 4, let's say between 2 and 6. You have few data above 8 and few data below 1. Okay. So this is how the histogram is built. So the histogram must have a binning process. So because data on the x-axis are continuous, so you must put them inside bins. Here the size of the bin, I think it's 0.5. Here from 2 to 5, 2.5 to 3, 3.5, 3 to 3.5, 3.5 to 4. Okay, let's see here how to build. For example, suppose for example I want to produce an histogram of, let's say, let's start with something easy, of the price here. Okay. Data analysis, histogram, choose the input range, labels, and choose chart output. Okay. What's the problem? Here you can experience a typical Excel problem. Excel is one of the worst programs for choosing bins. Can you see the bins that Excel has decided to take? 10, 10.05, 10.11, 10.17. Okay, this choice of bin is ridiculous because the bins are so small that 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 2, 0, 0, 0, 1. So you have so few data that the histogram has these spikes. Okay. Please remove this thing here. It's much better if you specify the bins yourself. Bins. For example, 0, 5, 10, 15. Then you drag down up to 60. Okay. Let's try to do it now. Histogram. Input range still the same. Bin range. Don't choose the entire column, doesn't work. Stop where you must stop. And now it looks much better. At least you have some bins which are reasonable, but it's not over. The process of creating an histogram, it's not over. You have to right click, format data series, no gap. So go here, format data series, no gap. If you don't do it, I will not consider the histogram correct, because as you can see from the picture here on Wikipedia, the histogram doesn't have any gap between the two bars. Okay? The histogram is not, and I repeat, not this thing here, which is not an histogram. This is not an histogram, it's a column plot. Okay. This is an histogram, so the bars must have no gap between each one because data on the x-axis are continuous. Okay. Well, also my choice of bin is not the best one. Okay, let's do a better choice. Oops, well, logical. 0, 10, 20. This is probably a little better. But we don't need to go so far away. Data, data analysis, histogram. Price is the right one. Bins. Okay. Format data series. No gap. Okay, this is a little better. Okay. Let's build another histogram just to train ourselves. Go to sheet long and build an histogram of buy price. Data analysis. Histogram. Column F. Bin, for the moment, nothing. I suggest you to try with nothing and see whether Excel gets it correctly. Labels, chart output. Let's see. Well, it's very bad, honestly. Okay. So let's try to specify the binning. Bins 0. You have to take a look at the prices. 5, 10. Let's go up to 100. Data analysis. Histogram. Input range. Okay. Bin range. This one. Okay. Oh, much better. Let's put no gap. Okay, you get a clear idea here that most of your data lie between 5 and 25. Okay, the rest is a tail. Okay.